minha gente, how are y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Louisa. This is in fact Louisa Likes Books, and I felt myself going into a fantasy mood and I said, let's do another reading vlog. I have zero expectations for me to actually understand anything. No, I should preface this by saying I am heavily a romance girly, okay? I like a lot of mafia romance, a lot of contemporary romance, and some historical romance sprinkled in there, right? A little bit of romanticy, but I use that term very lightly. I like, for example, That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemons. Love her writing. It's funny, it's quirky, but it has fantasy, obviously. It has magic and shit and dragons and shifters and so on and so forth. But I love that series because it has a little bit of magic, but it doesn't go straight into it. But I have found myself wanting to go a little bit more into fantasy. So I figured I could do a week, hopefully challenge myself, a week of romance reading or only reading fantasy. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to read the whole week just fantasy because, again, I like something that I'm familiar with, and fantasy is absolutely not. I read some of Fourth Wing and didn't finish it because I got sick after traveling, so I didn't feel like my brain was well enough to read all that. And I probably won't read Fourth Wing this week because I feel like I want to be in a good enough headspace that I can do Fourth Wing and then Onyx Storm and then Onyx Storm's the third. See, I don't even know the names. Fourth Wing and then Iron Flame and then Onyx Storm, and I don't even know when the next one is gonna come out, honestly. I usually like to binge, and I also don't like cliffhangers, which is another post to the con side of fantasy. I not only wanted a little bit more fantasy this week, all of the normal romance that I was picking up, I was like, I want something more. I want some magic. I want some, you know what I mean? So I found this one at the store the other day, and I know my Libby has the audiobook, so I've started this last night. I'm on page 64. Actually, I should say what book this is. This is Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I've never read anything by her, but I know she has the Indigo Ridge and that other series that a lot of the people that I know have similar taste to me like. So I'm like, okay, everybody says it is a romantasy. I'm trying my best to find books for this week that are most likely standalones, romantasy, not fantasy with romance, but romantasy, because then I feel like that would be closer to what I'm used to, and hopefully to do not obviously standalones, but even if I find a series that I like that does not end in cliffhangers. And I will say off the bat, one of the ones that I have in my TBR shelf I know ends in a cliffhanger. I make my rules and I break them. Like, how does that make sense? So far, so good. With this one, I think this is going to be the first one that I'm going to read for this video. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I think this is a standalone.
Wrong answer, forehead.
Which again meets the criteria I just told you. So hopefully this will help. So far it's been okay. Also, which is another thing too, I process everything a lot better when I talk about them out loud. So this video not only is a reading vlog, but also an attempt to make my understanding of these books easier. If that's actually gonna happen, no idea. I specifically started this video in front of my TBR shelf because I want to show you the ones that I already have physically that I'm thinking would be good for this week's video. First off, obviously the Shield of Sparrows that I'm already reading. Secondly, listen, apparently, allegedly, this is extremely unhinged smut. That's what I've been told. As for more fantasy, I don't know if this would be technically considered fantasy because he is a bull, as in moo bull. I don't know if there are any magical elements to it. That's another thing too. I'm so out of the romantasy, romance with fantasy, fantasy with romance discourse of it all that I don't even know how to classify books sometimes. So I don't know if this is just simply monster romance. For now, won't include it into this video. This is another one that I have Googled and apparently is also a standalone. Wrong. Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. I also have the audiobook for this as well, and most of them, other than The Kiss of Basilisk because the audiobook is not out yet, but most of them I'll do my best to listen to the audiobook while I'm reading because that usually does help a lot for me to understand the magic and what's going on. This is a good contestant for this video that I will try my best to get to. This one I've had for forever, the Sunbearer Trials by Aiden Thomas. Apparently it's really good. I know a lot of people that really like it, and I think it's the first one in the series, but I don't believe it ends in a cliffhanger, but I might be saying shit that I don't know anything about. My bestie that sold this book to me, like that sold me on getting it, said that the found family is amazing. There's a really good LGBTQI plus representation like all throughout this book, not just just the main character. The premise of like them being sons of the sun or sun bearers. Clearly, it's really interesting. So I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know how much romance I'm gonna see in this. Either way, I'm gonna add this to the pile for potential books for this week. I think the last two that would fit these criteria that I told you about would be these two. This fantasy mood got me into buying them because I don't know much about it, but it is compelling. Like, it's interesting to me. First of all, Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Maz. I saw this art and I was like, she looks badass as hell. And then I saw the back, I read the back, and it says, I'm just a girl, and as it turns out, I am Hercules. I said, that sounds amazing. Hercules, the Disney movie, is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. My blood test reveals I'm part of the powerful elite, and I'm one of them, a Spartan. First to attend the Spartan War Academy, I undergo the most harrowing test of all time to see if I have what it takes to be an immortal. Either way, the little bits and pieces that I've heard about this is good. However, a con for this apparently is that it ends in a cliffhanger, which again, as we know, I don't love. Either way, this will get into the list. And then last but not least, right now, the TBR books that I have that are meant to see, again, I might pick up some random one that I don't even mention. I haven't even mentioned so far. I'll add this to the list. This one I recently just bought. It's called Heavenly Bodies by lmaoooo. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. Please correct me. But I love the cover. And then the back, it says something about like, it blends Greek mythology and shadow magic with a tantalizing enemies to lovers romance that will rewrite the stars. I'm interested about that. Obviously in the cover has all the stars and all the little constellations and stuff. It does specifically says it's a romantasy, so hopefully I'm optimistic that this will fit the bill. So yeah, so far this is the list that we're working with. Again, I might add to it, I might take them out. I'll most likely not get to all of them this week. I am starting this on a Tuesday too, and I am going out of town for this weekend, so I'm not sure how much reading I'm going to be able to do. I will try my best. I've changed my mind. I was going to sit outside in my backyard. The sky looks so blue and ready to rain. I just saw lightning. Yeah, hell no. So we've relocated to the front porch. Hopefully I won't get rained on. Okay, so I'm on page 64. I'm about to start chapter 9. From what I'm understanding, our FMC Aldessa so far has been in the shadows of her sister, her half-sister, that has been trained her whole life to become the Shield of Sparrows, to basically be married to one of the princes from another country, another territory in their country that's kind of near them and that is very powerful, to keep the peace basically. Shield of Sparrows was like a blood signed contract riddled with magic that was signed like centuries ago by one king I think, and one princess from another territory that in her name was Sparrow, something Sparrow, something like that, and that became the Shield of Sparrows. So she knew that she was always going to be in her sister's shadow, that she was just basically despair. She's snarky. She's made a couple comments and called the prince to his face jackass, and it was really funny. But basically, when the prince and his team, his posse, came to their territory, to their kingdom, to meet the bride, the prince does not speak out loud, but he has some type of connection to this other man called the Guardian. We don't know his name, I don't think. So far, we don't know his actual name, but he's called the Guardian, and he apparently also has magic and is like feared by everybody. She notes that he walks in with like such power and he has 0 arms on himself. Like everybody has daggers and knives and a bunch of stuff, and he's like armless. And she mentions like, I know he can kill all of us with his bare hands in 2 seconds. I'm interested to see what happens, because obviously she just got married, like they did the little contract where they're signed with their blood and stuff, to the prince, the one that does not speak. He has been very like nonchalant about this whole thing. She mentions the Prince Xavier has been like bored by this whole thing. He just keeps looking at the Guardian and like communicating in their heads, or like having some type of mental communication, where he keeps saying like, I don't want the sister May, I want her. They keep saying her, and she keeps repeating her, me, she, me. So other than him being super adamant about marrying her instead of the sister that has been trained her whole life, he's been very blah. And the Guardian guy is the one that she hates, is annoying to her, and he giggles at some points and stuff, and she's like, who's this man? I'm definitely gonna kill him. Like, I'm poison. I think I'm gonna use poison to kill him. So I'm like, okay, enemies to lovers, banter. But then like, where's the prince gonna come into all this? Is this gonna be a throuple? So far they've had 0 connection. We'll see what happens. the monsters that the prince and the guardian and killed so that they could demand the princess to be his wife is called mirror wheels, and I'm gonna see if I can find a fan art to add here, but they seem gross. Ew. And also just imagine that in the ocean is crazy. And they killed 7. Don't like each other, but he's jealous because before she was like engaged, but really like fake engaged. This powerful general of her dad's, like the king. They weren't together for real. Like he's like an alliance type of thing. And he gets super close to her. The guardian gets super close to her and says, "Long night, you look tired. Are you saying goodbye to your fiance?" And then he touches her, grab her because she was about to fall in this monster's head, the Mirabel's head, and she like was hurt. Arm. He's like, "Are you okay? What happened to your arm?" The banter so far has been really nice. That's what I'm saying. What's gonna happen with this freaking prince? Oh, I hope it's not a love triangle. Hi, hello. It is indeed the next day. I decided to come out here to see if it's better, but the mosquitoes love my blood and it's really hot. So I'll just give you the little update of where I stopped yesterday because I had to cut myself off. That's how good this book has like enthralled me. I'm on page 220 now. My mom is calling me. Diga oi.
Olá, Luísa.
I can never have short conversations with my mom apparently, but finally we got off the phone and I'm back to reading, and I just wanted to tell y'all something that is happening right now in the book is very important. There is only one horse and they have to ride back to the original city that where they're staying. There's no other horses but his horse that he's super affectionately like adoring over, and she's hiking her shirts trying to get up and the horse is too big, grabs her and plops her on the saddle, and she's like, "What horse are you gonna ride?" And he's like, "Mine. Take the skirts out of my way." And she's like trying not to touch him or like relax back into his chest. Attention. So don't look at me, I'm recording. I'm confused, but also interested, but also really confused because I just got to chapter 32, and granted, we don't know purposeful, though we don't know, it keeps us engaged and interested until we find out the reason, but we don't know why Prince Xavier and the guardian chose Odessa instead of the sister that has been trained her whole life. Obviously, we assumed, just like Odessa assumed, that it was because they're already expecting May to be trained to spy for the dad. I feel like, and maybe it's just hopeful of me, but I feel like she might be different in some way, shape, or form. We get hints of that with how her irises are different from everybody else. She doesn't have bursts in her eyes, is what they call it. But also, why do monsters keep getting to her all the time? Even in other cities from Tura that they're at, she's at actually, and the guardian's there to protect her because he's sworn to protect her. Monsters that are usually around there show up, specifically happen to go towards her. He's opening up. Come on. Which is another thing that she just mentioned. He, the guardian, also has different irises than everybody, but that I kind of expected. Also, she expected it because he has powers and is known to have powers, and obviously, like, he heals faster, he kills the monsters, he's extremely well trained and skillful, which, obviously, he has powers. She, at least so far, is not known to have any powers. So why does her eyes and irises are different? You know what I mean? We'll see. He keeps calling her my queen, which granted, she is his queen, and she keeps telling him, "I hate you," and then he volleys back, "Yes you do, don't forget." And why do I feel like they're declaring their undying love with each other? Bro, they barely, not even kissed, not even hugged, and I'm over here giggling. It's quite literally 270 pages in. What the hell is happening to me? I usually don't like slow burns. I usually don't like fantasy, and now look at me. Is this what they were talking about when they said when you turn 25, around 25, 26, your frontal lobe fully develops and then you feel a shift? It's like something clicks. Is this what my click is? I'm now liking fantasy. This will absolutely mess up my plans. His gaze shifted to my nose like he was counting the freckles dusted across its bridge. His hand lifted to a curl to my temple, tracing the spiral with the fingertip. "You don't have to hide who you are, Cross. Not here. Not in Tora. Not with him." I hope y'all can see this, but the light turned off. Ooh, it turned back on. But I had a headlamp. by all means necessary, I'm reading this book today. Okay, the lights are back on, so I don't need this anymore. But this book is way too good for me to stop reading, to be honest with you. I don't know if you can see, but it's pouring outside. Raining sideways. But I was gonna keep reading this book no matter what. Hi, hello. It is the next day, and I'm truly so excited because I stopped my audiobook while I was reading this morning because I feel like something big's about to happen. I'm on page, actually, let me give you an update. I'm on page 257. As I said, I feel like something big's about to happen. There's some revelations that she's been having in her own mind, but also like physically. There's a bunch of stuff that she suspects that she's getting a little bit more answers for. Their relationship is growing so much, but also the plot is developing so much. And like I said, I feel like something big is happening. We find something out about her husband, the prince, that has been absolutely absent, and they have not had a connection or a relationship at all this whole time. We find something out that makes sense why. Also, we found out his name, the guardian's name, and it's really cute. The little moment of him like, you don't know my name. She's like, yeah, you told me you're not gonna tell me until I deserve your trust. And he's like, my name is... It was so sweet. Not her walking in into a whole throb. What the heck? Highness, the fuck, bruh. I knew it. I knew it. Wait. I knew it. I freaking knew it. Was his. It was his. It was his, bruh. It was his. It was him all along.
If 2 plus 2 is 4, right? And 5 plus 5 is 10, okay. What the fuck is this? I didn't see.
Somebody sedate me. Oh my god. It was all a ruse. Not at all. Bruh. I just finished chapter 44 and oh my god, everything makes sense. First of all, I freaking knew it. Second of all, I didn't say anything because it's low-key a spoiler. Well, kinda. I might go back in this footage and be like, stupid bitch. But third, the last 4 pages made every single sense ever. Like, it clicks all the pieces of the Guardian's character and her character too, but mostly his character all together. So many interactions throughout the whole book make sense now. Oh, it's so good! This is so hard because at this point I know her character, Odessa's character, so well that I know what she's feeling before she even tells me. She has been the number one person to always be put to the side and not told everything. Not like she's had to do her best to pick up on little hints and little pieces of the information that she wanted because people wouldn't just keep her in the freaking loop. And honestly, as someone that admittedly has a lot of FOMO, I feel that so bad because sure, he had his reasons that we now understand why. Like the last couple of pages, we fully understand why he did what he did. But at the end of the day, he still lied to her and he still kept her in the dark just like so many people in her life has done. And we know, because we know her, she hates that. She's gonna be at least in a little bit of pain and a little bit of like hurt, but hopefully, you know what I mean? Pieces together, you know what I mean? We'll see. That's so real of her. She basically was like, everybody calls me Highness now. She's been trying to be anonymous as much as possible because she's never liked all the attention on her. And she's like, my anonymity was all but gone. I'd mourn it later. Like, she has so much on her plate right now. And she's like, I ain't got time for this right now. He had already such a thing about him that now with the revelations that we have, oh my gosh, he's so hot. You are mine, Odessa. Somebody sedate me. His eyes changed as they searched mine. Not silver, not hazel, not even emerald green. They turned gold. The same gold I saw each morning in my mirror. You are mine, Odessa. I don't want to keep reading because then it's going to be over. If I don't keep reading, how am I going to know how it ends? Don't look at me. I'm not okay. Bruh, I knew I liked enemies to lovers. They've been training together this whole time. He's been pushing her to fight harder, to like push her body to her limit this whole time. And now she's like, you lied to me, I hate you. While she's trying to fight him, and he's quite literally like just receiving every blow that she tries to hand out, like punching him. She goes, fake, you're a coward and I hate you. And he just says, now who's the liar? Bruh. Finally they kiss. 380 pages. I'm the type of girl that reads smut in the first chapter, okay? I'm not used to the slow burn shit. I specifically have stopped myself, even though the premises look interesting, but I've stopped myself from reading Mariana Zapata because she's the queen of slow burns, and I don't like slow burns. 380 pages in and they finally kiss. I'm in agony. Stop. Hi, it's a couple days later. It has been technically a whole week already, but I'm going to continue this video because I feel like I want to at least finish Shields of Sparrow by Daphne Perry. I am loving it. I did pause while we were going out of town for the weekend because I feel like I wanted to be at home and have the physical and the audiobook with me, talk through it with y'all. I'm excited but also scared that I'm not going to get so many answers and the cliffhanger is going to like rip my heart. In our road trip this weekend, obviously I paused Shield of Sparrows, but I did read. I read Desire in His Blood and Craving in His Blood by Zoe Draven. I liked them. The first one was my favorite. It's a more spicy forward, alien made, cliche type of romance. Unfortunately, it's like it has all the tropes that we're expecting. All the her scent calls to me, she is my mate, but we're not supposed to be together, which obviously we know I love. And I will say that too, the writing overall for both of them is pretty repetitive. The audiobook's pretty good actually because it's duet. Either way, it's like a palate cleanser type of thing, and today, at least this week, it was a perfect example of a palate cleanser. My favorite thing about these two books, not only the spice was really good, but mainly how she developed the culture of the Kai lore, which is the family of the aliens that we get to know. Their culture is very spiritual. The way they treat their dead and they have a version of heaven and a version of, it's not really hell, but it's kind of like a purgatory. They're just lost there in agony in that space, and they talk about how present the souls of the people that they have loved and departed and passed away are to their lives, which I thought it was really interesting. As a spiritual person, I loved that aspect of it. For now, the goal is to finish this, if not tonight, by tomorrow, so that I can start Kiss of the Basilisk. My book club is really soon. I've read nothing of this. A couple of my girls from my book club have already said that they didn't really like it. It was just like smut, unhinged smut. And I'm like, I kind of like that. I'll tell you more once I get to it. For now, let's finish Shield of Sparrows. Forgive me, my queen, please. And a kiss. I feel like this relationship is the most edging that I've ever experienced in my life in a romance story. What the fuck do you mean? It's page 401. They finally get their second small ass kiss, and then something's gotta happen for them to go apart. One thing about my girl Daphne Perry, she knows how to keep your interest peaked, okay? It almost feels like a cliffhanger every end of a chapter, because I literally tell myself, no, I'm just gonna finish this chapter and then I'm gonna talk to you. It keeps going, like I can't stop right now. And the more I feel like finally we're getting to a high point, a climax, so we can come down and finish up the book, the more shit keeps happening. I hope I finish this book with a little bit of some answers. Got it! Or a little bit of a feeling of like, okay, I know that I didn't get an answer to this, but I got answers to all of this other stuff. We'll see. I am in shambles. So many people just died. My heart is not strong enough for fantasy, because this is romantasy as far as I'm concerned. The people that have died, I already want to strangle everybody and their mama for it. Like, for what? For what? There's this much left. Do you see how thin that is? Do you see how thin that is? Do you see how little space we have to figure shit out? And I know this bitch is gonna end on a huge cliffhanger, because the people that said that it's not a big cliffhanger. Come here. Why would you say that? Sorry, that was a little too much. What the fuck? What the hell? What? To find my wife? This concludes nothing. This concludes Shield of Sparrows. No, it doesn't. It concludes nothing.
What is wrong with you?
screaming right now.
I fucking walked out the room and I hear.
Nigga, you cool? No. This book just finished in the biggest fucking cliffhanger of my life. Can y'all shush so I can scream to my camera? I am frantically looking for a sequel, at least estimation. Oh my god, look at her. I am so pissed. Look at them. Are you kidding me? Okay. Apparently, the first thing is the Shit of Sparrows book, and she says, and I quote, "For all of my romantasy lovers, this is the start of a 3-book series, a trilogy, and an epic story of adventure and intrigue with an enemies to lovers romance that will become your next obsession. I need dates, Devaney. Sorry, that's not enough for me. When calendar date pin it." And I don't know what the fuck to rate this, because I don't know if this is like, duh, this is making me feel all these feelings, that's why it's freaking amazing, but also, duh, I don't want to be feeling all these feelings. I went into this with the preconceived notions that we have going into a normal romance. They might seem like somebody's gonna die, but it's gonna be fine. Guaranteed happily ever after. Nobody's gonna die. Oh no, you're losing blood. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Wrong. Wrong, bitch. At least 4 people died, presumably, that I did not want to. And not to say all of them were good either. I don't like people dying. All that to say, pick this up. See, that's the thing about romantasy that I do not freaking like. If everything else was included, if all the plot points, the magic, the visuals, the action, the slow burn romance, the tension, the angst, the plot twists, and everything else, if all of that was included, plus a little bit of a spicy romance and a happily ever after, I would have been sold. That's the part that I don't like. But that's the part that makes fantasy, I guess. I need to go to sleep. You bet your ass I'm gonna dream about red-headed, knife-wielding warriors, green blood, and marabouts, and tiny little adorable girls with tiny little cats, and dungeons, and kings and horses. Wish me luck. Hello, my gente. It is indeed a couple days later. I think it's a beautiful day outside, and that means unhinged smut. I've decided to start this because I do have book club in my house right here. Started this last night. I'm basically like not even 5 chapters in, and it's unhinged smut. Like, they barely talk. As far as I know, there's a third person, the prince, that is supposed to get in the mix in some way, shape, or form, and I don't know how that's gonna go. Also, I've decided after a whole day of processing it, we'll rate it high, probably a 4 or 4.5. Even though I hated that ending, if I'm feeling this much about it, it's gotta be a good one. Otherwise, I would just feel apathetic. If anything, art is supposed to make you feel feelings, and if anything, it made me feel feelings. So that's where I'm ended at. Anywho, let's start this. So far, oh yeah, I didn't explain what this was, did I? So basically, this is Kiss of the Basilisk by Lindsay Straub. Basically, this is the blurb. Tim couldn't imagine a stranger duo, the formidable basilisk and the human prince, both powerful in their own right, but they couldn't be more different from each other. 20-year-old Temperance Virus, and she goes by Tim all the time, and I hear Tim, like Tim, and not Tem, Tem. And I'm like, who's Tim? Who's this random white man? 28-year-old Temperance Virus has never been kissed, but that's what the basilisk is for. Along with 13 other contestants, Tim must train with the basilisk to learn the power of seduction and win the prince's hand in marriage. When Tim is matched with Caspian the Serpent King, she realizes she might actually stand a chance. But with tensions rising between the basilisks and the humans, Tim is suddenly torn in 2 directions. As her bond with Caspian deepens, so does her connection with the prince. When she uncovers a terrible secret about the royal family, Tim finds herself caught between 2 worlds, neither of which she can survive without. I don't know if this is going to be a throuple poly, but I'm interested to see because she has already met both of them. Obviously, she's already done almost everything with Casper the basilisk that is supposed to be teaching her, and she keeps telling me instead of showing me how their relationship has grown past student-teacher type of relationship, but I'm not seeing it. She also has met the prince already, and I'm not crazy about the relationship, especially because like he publicly rated her, and this is all in like the very beginning of this, so I have no idea how much plot is going to develop, and I hope it develops because right now I'm like, But basically the prince right early on had to like publicly rate the girls that are vying for his hand, for his bed, basically, from pretty to ugly, and he rates her last while she already has a bunch of like insecurities, and people, specifically one girl, already bullies her for being a chicken farmer. Maybe it's just my pride, but I don't like with that. I don't like when dudes do that. No. So we'll see what happens. I'll let you know, or at least maybe halfway through I'll check in and see how I feel about their relationship in general. Hi, I totally didn't stop halfway because I feel like if I had stopped to update you guys while I was reading this, I wouldn't have finished. If this wasn't a book club book, I would not have finished. TLDR, nobody in my book club liked it. They literally just left. It was such a fun book club. They came to my house this time. I'm gonna put a photo / video here so y'all can see. It was so fun because this was so bad. We had such an unhinged, fun time talking about this. Friend Tiffany made a slideshow because of how much she hated it. Like, it was that bad. This could have been 200 pages shorter. The unhinged smut was okay. Like, it was great until halfway, and then it just became repetitive as heck unnecessarily. It's like she had so many ideas and put all of them in one book and tried to all make sense, but didn't try hard enough because it did not make sense at all. I guess this is where I'm gonna end the video. Shield of Sparrows was a absolute highlight. I want to definitely continue that series. I need book 2 stat. I'm glad that I read it, even though it was a cliffhanger, because of how good it was, how much it enthralled me in the world, and how much I could visualize everything happening. That's how good of a writing that book has, and Daphne Perry has. So outcomes from a romance girly, self-proclaimed only romance girly, reading fantasy for a week. I loved it. Honestly, I feel like my taste has changed. If anything, this week has made me see that I actually really like fantasy. I just need time to adjust to it and like digest it a little by little. I feel like recording my reactions and talking through it definitely helped me because, again, like I said in the beginning of the video, I am what do therapists call it? I think it's like auditory processor, or like someone that processes better whatever is happening through talking about it out loud. So that's me to a T. So this was a perfect example of that. Either way, if you have recommendations, let me know. I think the next one that I'm gonna read might be Quicksilver. That's one that I have already, the physical and the audiobook. As far as I know, unless Google lied to me, that one ends in a not as big of a cliffhanger as Shield of Sparrows, but it's still like a little bit of a cliffhanger. Other than that, I feel like that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, bitch, bye.